I could live in four walls like this if I had a partner who knew I existed. Hey, it's Cassandra's sister, Diana here. So I did have a meeting with, financial things to figure out what to do because I live in this one room and if you've seen my other videos, this is very temporary, looking for another home. And it's funny, I had a feeling, but you know what? I could live in four walls like this if I had a partner who knew I existed. Now, let's unpack that, see? And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. So what the deal is that I feel guilty if I'm not guilty. I feel like I can't complain. I have nice glasses, I have pretty dogs, I have a book, I have a channel, I have nice hair sometimes. But to have someone that doesn't see you as an individual. So we're sitting in the office talking to this very nice person to kind of help us out, the financial person. And he basically, there's enough money, but there's not enough money. Try to get me a house, him a house, figuring out this whole retirement thing is a complete bleep show. And it's really insane. And I'm unhealthy in this house. I've talked about that. I just don't have my health here. Of course, mentally, but physically too. So I'm sitting there and we mentioned the crash of '08 because we're in a kind of a crazy time right now with everything. And I went through hell in the crash of '08. I lost several homes. My mom died in '09. My dad was very ill. I had to take care of him. I did not survive the crash of '08. My person knows all about this. I've told them about it a gazillion times. And I even had a business that I lost for 10 years. The crash of '08 just destroyed me, and with a lot of other people. So we sit there and we talk about '08, and he mentions this whole story about one of his exes who lost everything in '08. And I'm just, okay. Wow. And then, of course, I spoke up and I told the financial advisor what happened to me. And it was just so strange. Whenever I've been there one other time and the financial advisor always looks at me funny, like, why is he mentioning that? There were several things he said that were just really kind of, I'll just say they were off. But here's the deal. I'm not separate from him. He has absorbed me. Talk about being one with somebody. The people on the outside of his home is what he remembers. Darn it. Here's why I'm crying. It's not for me. I'm crying that this is so hard to explain. I'm crying that we, Cassandra's sisters, have to go through this silently for years. I am not healthy here and I need to get out. And I thought it was going to happen. I really had hopes because of so many reasons. And I'm not going with this as, oh, just buy me a house. I was promised this by him. If I look at it, you have to be the observer because you cannot take this stuff personally. And I will be honest with you, I don't. I just look at him as, wow, I really need to not be in the same house with this person. Because again, when I was living in the other house for a year, he treated me so well. It is the most baffling, misunderstood, crazy making that because I live with him, I become him. Whatever my experiences are his experiences. That's why he talked about the ex and her loss in the '08 and completely didn't mention mine. So it makes you feel, in a normal situation, wow, that is really cruel. But I honestly, and if you want to email me, because I know this is private, I would love to hear if I'm wrong on this. I would love to hear, Diana, you're way off base. I firmly believe once you live with the person like mine, and it's a specific group of guys, some people will call it narcissistic. It could be comorbid narcissism. How it seems to evolve is that you're part of, I used to always call him the blob because he just absorbed me. I know that the financial advisor is going to hopefully run some numbers, try to find something, but he has to answer to my person because it's his account. When you start to become the observer, this happens when you decide to leave them too, where you start to really see because you're not wrapped up in that bubble of trying to hope that they change or try to fix them or try to, like, this can't be happening. This isn't real. It must be me. I'm not seeing it right. I'm not looking at this the right way. But when your eyes are open and you see it, I just think, wow. I mean, I feel better talking about this. I've done recordings, recording my own voice, because I'm kind of doing the same thing here. And you start to really realize what's going on. The real reality of life comes out when you're talking it through. So even if you have no one to talk to, turn on the record button on your phone or whatever you have and talk to yourself. For me to say, yeah, he mentioned his ex, because in the moment, it sucked. How on earth are you mentioning your ex right now? You are so insane. And then I felt on the defensive. And so I told the guy all about my trauma, like way worse off than his ex who lost her trailer or something. And I lost 4 homes and my parents died. But talking about it now, just seeing how completely disconnected it is and how much that he doesn't see me as an individual. Everybody else is, but me, because I live with him. I firmly believe that, and I'm sure there's a lot more talk. I'm just me, and there's probably doctors and professors that can really explain it well and call it all kinds of whatever it is. Boy, I'm not shocked at all. I know what I'm going to have to do to make this happen, and it's really rough. You're not going to ever have them come to you and say, because this is what we wish. We just wish, you know, you're going through that thing that you really want, and you need them to do it with you. You can be an individual and do all this myself and go live with a roommate and go leave and go. I may do that. If I can make some money, if I can get over this, I have a lot of health issues, I may just do it. I thought I had a chance to get this house and for him to get something, because we're not married, there's no common law. I'm not going to be able to get anything by leaving him. I know that sounds not good, but I depend on him, and it's just the right thing to do. I have to make him do the right thing. I don't even want to stop talking, because then I have to be by myself. I have to be alone with these thoughts to try to figure out the next move. And that sucks. I'm tired of doing it. It took me 3 years to get that first house. And I know that's confusing. It sounds confusing to say we had this house, what happened there, but it was something really in depth where this time it would be right. And have you ever said that to yourself? If we just do this, that'll work. If I just do that. But I wasn't detached. That's the key. I still thought somehow, just last year, that we could have some type of relationship where it'll work, where we can live in a duplex. He lives over here, I live over here, this big dream world, and that'll make it work. He can't think that way. No matter how much I try to force it on him, there's always going to be something to trip it up in his mind, that it doesn't make sense. He still sat there today and said, oh, I've told her this a million times. He's never told me this, that he's retiring 4 years from now instead of next year, when he's told me, see, and it's about that fear of change. It's about him just not thinking about anything but what makes him feel good in the moment. Because there's no future building, there's no goal building, there's no togetherness. And guess what? That is autism. Again, being outside of yourself is very difficult for someone with autism. I'm sorry, whatever people want to say, there's a big spectrum. We already know that. Everybody's different. There's lovely, there's da-da-da. But the nature of autism is not being able to be outside of yourself, to be a little bit self-absorbed, because you're dealing with everything inside of you that's overreactive. And for my person, definitely some comorbid stuff. But it has to stem with a lot of the autism and not being able to be into somebody else's shoes. So back to the drawing board. Dang it. And you know, why don't you leave him? Holy crap, just live with roommates and get on with it. And I know I'm about ready to do that. It's that constant breadcrumbs. And I think what you got to do, and I'll do it, I'm going to give it 6 months. I can do 6 months. I'm okay here for 6 months. And if it is really still not there, if I don't get a house by then, I have to make plans to absolutely, completely leave this person. And I got to do it on my own. I'm 55 now today. I have health issues. But there are loving people out there, and we forget that being in these relationships, we forget that there's loving people out there. We really do. There are people that will support me, and I can do it. So, God, I'm sitting in there with the financial advisor, and he had some chocolate, and I took the chocolate, and I took the water, and I thought, gosh, I remember when I was homeless for a little bit because I lost everything in '08 and divorce. And I went back to school. I went to college when I was 40 and I took psychology. And then my dad passed. Yeah, my dad passed right when I was almost finished and didn't quite finish. Then I had an issue with a professor. So I didn't go back. I had my I was on the dean's list. Isn't that crazy? I was so proud of myself, and I ended up just not finishing. And then I started in with the health issues from all the stress. Life is crazy. And my little squirrel is back. I will leave you with a little picture. Hi, honey. You see the phone? Hi. Hi, sweet girl. Or boy. All right. Take care of yourself.